You're listening to the Hocus Pocus podcast.
Here comes the money.
Here we go. Money talk.
Here comes the money.
Hello everyone and welcome back to episode 3 of the Hocus Pocus podcast. My name's Ewan Thomas. With me again is my lovely co-host Callum Holt and the second guest of this series, James Hill. Welcome on board.
Hi.
Introduce yourself.
James Hill. How you doing?
Brilliant.
So
Great stuff.
So following on,
I'm going to start the podcast. So I'm going to interrupt you straight away. Keep
Okay.
it as we go on.
Good, mate.
I'm currently suffering with a virus and an ear infection.
Oh,
So-
what about me?
So if I seem a bit flatter and this podcast isn't as funny as the usual ones, I do apologise.
Wait till-
My back does hurt from
Yeah,
carrying
it'd be
the
a shame
podcast.
to ruin it, actually.
well,
So I just wanted to put that in as a precursor.
yeah. Cheers, mate. Well, following
Alright.
from the success of last week with Lewis, we thought we'd get another guest on. So James has joined us today. We're going to follow the same format as before. So we've each brought a topic to the table. We're going to have a little chat about it, have some little questions floating about, and yeah, that's pretty much the gist of it. So we'll start again with Callum Hull, and
Yeah.
Cal, mate, let us know what your topic is, and yeah, the floor is yours.
So my topic is coming back off the news that the Logan Paul versus Floyd Mayweather boxing match has been suspended. It was set for the 20th of February and it has been postponed. The reasons given was COVID and other stuff.
precise.
No idea what the other stuff
Who
is.
said that? Floyd?
No, Floyd wouldn't be able to speak that kind of a sentence. It must
No.
have been Logan Paul. The reason I've chosen this topic is obviously, James, you're quite well renowned for saying that you could beat Floyd Mayweather in a boxing match, but we'll come to that.
No, I didn't say that.
Okay. Well, we'll come to find out exactly what you said before in the past. But yeah, so the general of the topic is what do you think of these celebrity or famous people fighting and getting involved in sports? Do you think it damages the sport, or do you think it enhances the sport?
I'll let you go first on that one, James.
Yeah, I mean, if you're a boxing purist, you're probably not too happy about it, are you? But at the end of the day, if the people want to see it, the people are going to watch it, aren't they? It's not like they're playing in the World Cup. They're just punching a basketballer in the face.
Yeah, no, that is true.
Yeah.
Have you watched any of the fights as of yet?
Yeah, I think I watched clips of them. I didn't pay for them. I'm not that
Well-
interested.
What are your thoughts on paying for fights? Like, would you ever buy a fight on BT Sport or?
Yeah, good one. Yeah, so yeah, I bought the UFC 254 Poirier versus McGregor fight for 20 quid. Get up at 3 a.m, and it didn't work.
Right.
So
What?
How
Not at all,
have you
like,
got-
you didn't get
Don't
anything.
they?
Nothing happened.
You got your money
Nothing on
back
the
yet?
screen.
Or?
Yeah, and well, yeah, good one, Cal. The cheek of it is, so I did watch it on my phone in the end. I was hoping to get it on a laptop, put it on the big screen, and fucking cheeky bastards. I sent them an email saying, "Oh, your stream's shit. Give me my money back." And they were like, "Oh, we've looked through our records, and apparently you did watch the fight." I was like, "Yeah, well, I watched it on a tiny little phone screen. I'm not getting up at 4 a.m, paying 20 quid to watch two people that were probably about 20 millimeters tall on a phone screen." And then McGregor got knocked out. So what's the point? And then after that, Lampard got sacked. The whole week was a shit show.
Not ideal then. Not ideal.
So that's a direct message to BT Sport. If you're listening, anyone at BT, that is an unhappy customer.
I'm never buying one with them again. No way.
No.
No.
So your general gist of the celeb boxing is that you don't really care about it. If people want to watch it, they'll watch it.
Yeah, to me, it's like a charity, like when they do Soccer Aid, but instead they're making lots of money out of it. So maybe you could say maybe they should do it for charity, but whatever.
I think if you're offered as a celebrity, if you were offered a fuck ton of money to do it, like you'd be mad not to. Like it's the same as that bloke who's just signing for Liverpool. He's probably not going to play that much, but he's like, oh, okay, I've been offered money, I'm going to go play for Liverpool. If you got offered
Minamino?
No, the centre half.
He's on Southampton, you donut. Ben Davies gone from Preston to Liverpool centre back.
Like if you were offered,
I see.
if you were offered like a large sum of money to do something that you weren't,
Yeah,
then
exactly.
you obviously take it. So I think that's the gist of it. I think the whole thing with Jake Paul's been like claiming he's the best, like going to be the best fighter ever, and all this shit. That's just a load of rubbish. But I think if you're offered a large sum of money to do it, why the fuck not? Basically, that would be my thoughts on the matter.
I think the people moaning, they'd all take it, wouldn't they?
Yeah, and that brings me perfectly on to my next question: is how much would you have to be paid, James, to fight on one of these pay-per-views, or would you do it for fun?
Yeah, I think most people would do it for fun, wouldn't they?
Who has he got to fight? That's the
next question. Is what celebrity would you like to fight in a
celebrity?
Or famous person or person of influence, or someone with some sort of backing. You've got to fight them pay-per-view as a main card. You're getting paid a fair whack. It's got to be worth it as well. You can't just pick like a 12-year-old.
No, my first thought was Richard Osman, because he is a big stiff idiot.
Richard Osman,
is that the guy?
Yeah, from Richard Osman's House of Brilliant Game.
The really tall one.
Yeah, what a shit show that show is.
So James does have a bit of needle with Richard Osman's House of Games.
He gets 4 like fucking B-list celebrities on there and goes, "Oh, point at a Spice Girl." Shut up. It's on Dave. Put another repeated Top Gear on, and everyone's happy. Oh. Ridiculous.
So do you reckon you'd beat Richard Osman?
Right. So
easily. He's a big stiff idiot, isn't he? He just sits there googling stuff, thinking he's clever because he's got glasses and he's 6'9". It's just a joke.
Do you not think the height would be an issue?
Not really. Body shots. Kick him in the head.
Right. Okay.
I'd fight.
What year?
I'd fight like one of the Love Islanders. Just because.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I reckon you'd lose that.
No, I reckon I'd win.
Yeah.
I'm not thinking like one of the really.
What, you are like Molly May or something?
No, not Molly May.
Yeah, you bench about 150, don't you, Ian?
Yeah, roughly.
Is this going to come up in every podcast?
I'd fight like I don't know, like Anton, whatever his name is, because I'd just.
He'd absolutely melt you.
No, he wouldn't.
Anton Dubek.
No, Anton
on the wall.
Anton Danny Luke, whatever his name is.
How do you know their names, Ewan? That's more embarrassing.
I've got a good memory, mate. I reckon I could take him.
I don't think you could. I reckon you get absolutely battered.
Okay, well, let us know if you're listening to this. Let us know in the comments.
Who wins in a fight? You and Thomas or Anton from Love Island? I'm going to go for mine is Roman Pavlyuchenko, the old Tottenham forward.
Oh yeah,
of Russian background because he's a little rat.
I reckon he's as fuck, mate.
He relegated Birmingham back in 2011 with 2 long shots.
Who hasn't really?
No, to be fair, but he sticks in my mind. He sticks in my mind as someone I'd like to batter.
Yeah,
he'd be one of those blokes that doesn't look like much, but is actually just an absolute animal. I reckon Pavlyuchenko.
No. I don't think I'm not saying I'd win the fight. I just enjoy getting a few shots away.
Oh,
nice. Yeah. You're just in it to cause damage.
Yeah.
Or doesn't care about
Birmingham City director of football, actually, Xiaodong Ren. I'd like to give him a scratch.
That's not a real name.
What, Xiaodong Ren? That's his name.
Yeah, that's not real.
Isn't that the one that got banned for abusing a match official or something?
Yeah, no, he is that guy. Yeah, he is the worst director of football.
I saw this on Twitter. I think
he told me he was useless.
Yeah, he basically like really heavily abused their match official.
Yeah.
Well, it doesn't sound like heavy abuse to me. He's got to come up with something better than that, hasn't
he? Yeah, no, he's useless. And I'd happily scrap him. That'd be what I'd be confident in winning.
What about Xiaodong Ren and Roman Pavlyuchenko tag team versus you, like WWE style?
Well, I'd probably get absolutely screwed then, wouldn't I? But I don't think I'll back myself against Pavlyuchenko. I don't back myself against big Xiaodong Ren as well. I've seen him in real life, actually. I saw him at Fulham away. I think, were you there, James?
Yeah, we waved at him. We were dressed as Peaky Blinders, weren't we? It was coldest I've ever
dressed
been.
as Peaky Blinders in
December.
We
go to Fulham away. Callum tells me that, all Birmingham fans go to Fulham away dressed as Peaky Blinders. So we rock up in the fucking trench coats with nice shoes and the fucking flat caps. We turn up and everyone's there in their fucking Stone Island shit.
Apart from Xiaodong, he was there and wearing a full suit. So,
yeah. Well, he did own the club, so.
Yeah, no, I'd have a scrap with him. And then, the next question on a similar vein of that is, what celebrities would you like to see fight each other?
Ooh.
If you could matchmake, if you played Eddie Hearn for an evening and you could put 2 celebs against each other in the main event, who would you go for?
I'm instantly thinking like Ant v Deck Dick v Dom,
Who
that lot.
do you
I
think's win those then?
oh,
Uh,
I think Ant
who's the
beats
tall
Deck
one?
pretty comfortably.
Yeah, and he's a
He's
big
had a
boozer,
history.
so
He's had a
he'll
history.
probably got a lot of built up sort of anger there.
Pent up aggression, yeah.
Yeah, but you see that little clip where Deck says, "I'll smash your face in." He
That's
looks
pretty aggressive.
pretty
Yeah.
vicious. Yeah, so I don't know.
Deck's
like to
quite
see it,
little,
that's
and
the
so
point.
he'd be ducking and weaving and getting those little.
Ducking, weaving, yeah, Mike Tyson style.
I think the Eddie Hall mountain one is like one that's already happening, but one that I think, because I watched a clip of the mountains like warm up fight, I guess you would call it, and seeing a bloke who is that like massive and that shredded was like actually quite scary. Like he's like 6'9", he's just absolutely jacked, and this other bloke just looked like a little ant. But
I'd definitely go for like Beetlejuice versus Hornswoggle. I think that would be absolutely brilliant. I don't know who I'm backing that, because Beetlejuice obviously is quite an aggressive little fella, and obviously Hornswoggle is a professional wrestler, and he has a shillelagh and stuff.
WWE though.
Yeah, they've both been in WWE before, but they've never had a bout before. I'd like to see that headlining WrestleMania in like in a TLC game. Hornswoggle versus Beetlejuice. That'd be some serious carnage. So that's sort of my boxing bit, and then just to end up on this sort of sports topic, the question is sort of what sporting achievement would you value the most? So you got your choices are like a 9-darter at the Ali Pally, you got a hole in one in some sort of whatever they call golf tournaments. What's the snooker one? Is that is it a 147?
147 break.
147. Yeah, that thing. You got a test century in the Ashes to win the Ashes. We're not going to give you football ones because I think you'd probably go for them. So we'll give you those 4. Was that 4?
Yeah, for me, that's obviously
snooker, darts,
golf, cricket.
We'll give you those 4.
I'd have to say cricket. I think
you go for the Test 100.
Yeah, if you're winning the Ashes, you'd be a cult hero forever.
Yeah.
Anytime you rock up at any pub, everyone would buy your drinks for you. You'd be just like a hero for life. Like there's some blokes who like played cricket for England a few times and they've won like big matches and they're just renowned as cult heroes. So I reckon that'd be the best one.
What do you think, James? See the cogs going around.
Yeah, I think the 9-darter is going to be the best at that moment. I think.
Yeah, because the atmosphere.
People go mental, whereas the rest of the sports are a little bit poncy. Like if you make a 147, you just get some old pensioner stand up and like clap and him fall over. It's not.
Yeah, I'd agree. That's the worst.
Yeah.
I think. What do you think requires the most skill out of those?
Well, I think most hole in ones are just fluke, aren't they?
I'd say
fucking hole, but
darts. I'd say darts because I feel like darts you can't really get like snooker. You could get like fluky with a couple. I feel like darts is very much. I mean, they're both skill-based games, but I feel like darts.
Darts is very repetitive, though, isn't it?
Yeah, and I also feel like darts has the least amount of external factors. Because obviously, it's
exactly.
you and the dartboard, whereas in cricket you can't judge for the balls you're throwing and
someone might bowl a quick one. Because I played cricket, I just couldn't. I couldn't even see the ball. It just came and hit it, and that was it. I walked off again. Complete waste of time.
The best bit about the cricket was the lunches.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, the lunches I would. in between the innings, going on for a little jam top.
You always want to go to the village teams because they always had the posh.
Yeah, nothing doing what to a top.
That's the best bit. Yeah, so that's sort of my sports topic.
Round.
So I'm going for the cricket one as well. I think.
Yeah. Long term, I feel like long term, that's a better one because you go into a pub and you'd be like, oh, I once got a 9-darter, and they'd all be like,
great. So did Barry, who's like 86, and he's accidentally threw one the other night. Yeah,
I did it.
It's one of those things you wouldn't be able to do again.
Yeah. And it's also like you said, like you can't prove it, can you? If I did a 9-darter now in my room, then I'd say that no one believed me. If I'm getting a Test 100 in the Ashes, everyone's bloody watching that.
Yeah, absolutely, mate.
So that brings me to the end of my topic. Just like the sports-related fighting. Oh, actually, we didn't actually get around to it. Go back to what you said about your fight with Floyd Mayweather, then, James, just to end off the segment.
I just said I'd beat him in a fight, just an all-out brawl.
A street fight. We're talking a street fight here, not a boxing.
whatever you can put it in an octagon, I don't care.
Outside the best kebab in Horsham, James Hill versus Floyd Mayweather.
No, because
He's not got a good record there. He's not got a good record in that venue.
Yeah.
Why do you think you could beat Mayweather then?
He's just what's he got? He'll just stand there and sort of jab.
He's probably
and
the
roll
best
his shoulder.
boxer of all time, is he not? Pound for pound.
Yeah, but he's best boxer. I'm not saying I'm batter Tyson Fury.
Brilliant.
So,
Well, I think that brings us nicely on then, James, to your offering to the podcast today. What have you got from us?
Well, my offering, I was just going to talk about global warming.
Very intrigued to see which way he comes at this.
Yeah, I'm quite glad that at the moment no one's really talking about it because it was getting a bit boring towards the end. It's repetitive.
I can't. Okay, carry on.
I don't really
are
have
you saying? Are you saying that is it your view that people are getting it was all getting a bit kind of aggressive, the campaigning for
that's aggressive. It's sort of I mean, I know what they're trying to do. They're trying to get their way, so they make you feel bad. But I'm pretty sure. I might have misheard this, but I was pretty sure I was listening to radio the other day, and someone said, "Put less milk in your coffee for like climate change." Yeah. I mean, that is just mental. Because you've got the Chinese; they are getting away with murder. Quite frankly,
right?
We're shutting down coal power stations. They're firing them up. They're going, "Oh, coal's cheap." Because no one's using it.
Mm. I think I heard something the other day which was like there's a lot of like vegan activists and stuff saying like, oh, you shouldn't eat meat and all this kind of thing, but someone was saying like a plant-based diet, like people say a plant-based diet like is good for the environment, good for like global warming. Doesn't mean you have to be like a vegetarian or a vegan. It just means you're
but dying's good for the environment.
Yeah, but I'm just trying. That's what I'm trying to say is like that you don't have to necessarily like change your whole entire lifestyle to.
Go on. Let's go for this, James. Go on. 3 ways. If you were in power, and you had to reduce, you're in charge of the whole planet. Okay. Yeah. You somehow have managed to wangle that job, based on they obviously haven't done their background checks. Yeah. You've managed to get that job. What 3 changes are you going to make to combat climate change?
You'd have to look at all the statistics, and I'll be honest, I haven't. I've just gone off.
Anything that comes to mind
off the top?
Well, there's too many of us, isn't there? There's too many of us. Right. I'd encourage the rest of the world to have a one-child policy.
Right. What about your personal changes that you could make, James, into your car?
Well, I don't think I'm too bad. I mean, I drive a car, but I'll put things on it annoys me actually when you use a whole packet of poppadoms and you look at the packaging, it says film tray not yet recycled, like they're planning on making it recyclable. They're not, are they? They're not. It's always going to say not yet recycled, and then you just chuck it in the bin. I don't even know why I bothered looking at it.
Yeah. So that's one of the changes you make. Then you make poppadom film trays recyclable. You're not for population reduction, shall we say, as a polite way to put it, and recycle poppadom trays.
About it. I'm not encouraging it though. I mean, not just poppadom, everything. That was just the example that I used yesterday because I had poppadoms yesterday. It could have been anything.
Fair enough, mate.
Yeah. Fair enough. I mean, that's a great.
I'm not going to go out and purposely look for poppadoms that have recyclable packaging, am I?
I bet you there are some.
You'd be mental. Yeah, you've got to be mental. If you're that
worried,
make your own poppadom.
Would you say the poppadoms that you currently buy, the non-recyclable ones, are £1? Would you pay £1.50 to get recyclable packaging on poppadoms? You wouldn't.
No, of course not.
All right. Okay.
We've got like a bathroom that's plastered in filth, and we're here in England going, put less milk in your coffee. We're basically polishing one little tile in the whole bathroom.
Right.
And the Chinese are still chucking shit at the wall.
I quite like that as an analogy. I'm not sure about.
It is an analogy.
That is an analogy.
So you think
there's too many of us?
What about? Have you ever thought about running for any political positions or anything like that?
Not worth the time.
Not worth your time. Okay.
No, I don't know why anyone does it.
Well, someone's got to do it.
Exactly. So yeah,
leave it to them then.
Either you know someone and you've got an in, haven't you, to become a politician, which is most of them. There might be a few that work their way up through local councils and that, but Christ, I bet that's boring.
Yeah. So that's your topic of your global warming. You've sort of solved global warming for the world.
What's your opinion on it? What do you think?
What's my opinion? Obviously, it's an issue. I believe I like Andrew watching things that like David Attenborough produces. I like David Attenborough a lot.
Yeah, but he was doing that before global warming, wasn't he? Let's be honest.
Yeah, no, true. He's sort of my go-to guy for global warming. Obviously, there's Greta. I think she's doing well.
She's genius.
She's getting lots of attention to the issue. I think, yeah, like you said, I think people have got to be held responsible in terms of other countries as well as our own. It's got to be some sort of quota based on. That's the issue, though, isn't it? Because people like you said, China, Russia, America, are always going to pollute more due to the size of the countries.
Yep.
But do you cap them to a percentage?
Well, and the attitude, though, isn't it?
The attitude. What do you mean?
Because they don't care. They're too busy trying to grow as a country. They don't care.
Yeah. No,
America forgets that anything exists outside America.
Yeah, I can.
Yeah, no, I think that's true. Yeah.
Thank you very much for that, James. We'll move on. We'll move on to my topic. So we'll move on to the final topic of the day. That's from myself. Basically, boys, I've been interested in conspiracy theories and things that people think happen in the world and whether they're true or not. So what I've done is I've gone through and I found 3 conspiracy theories that I thought were particularly interesting. I'm going to give you a little bit of background information. Then we're going to have a discussion about it, and basically I'd like you each to decide which one you think is the most plausible and why.
Okay.
So I'll go over the first one. So I'll just set the scene for you. It's the 1998 World Cup final, Brazil against France. Ronaldo, fat Ronaldo, the day of the match has a convulsive fit and is removed from the lineup and then reinstated. There are suggestions in the Brazilian media and other sources. There was potentially a ploy from a sponsor to get more attention on their brand. So on Nike, there was also suggestions that he may have been drugged, or in some way some of his food or supplements being tampered with. Basically, he had an absolute stinker, and there's a conspiracy that there was some foul play in basically meaning he had a fit and then was removed and reinstated, and it was all very confusing. So that's conspiracy theory 1. Was Ronaldo tampered with, or was there?
He played the game, did he not?
Yeah, but was there some foul play in the build up to that, which caused him to have this fit, or whether or not he had it, be absent in the game?
Well, my thought. Am I giving my thoughts on that now? Or am I waiting for you to ramble on about all this rubbish?
We can have some thoughts after each one, and then we'll have a.
Well, my initial thought of the conspiracy theory that you haven't mentioned would be a tactical approach of trying to mess with the opposition team, but by saying we're not going to play our best player.
Yeah, maybe.
Oh, what? Getting their heads? But I thought who was it against again?
France.
I thought you were accusing the French of drugging him.
Well, that was one of the theories that's been bandied about. That
I've never even heard this one.
I've heard it. Yeah,
never even heard
I've heard of it.
Yeah, basically, he was their best player, and then he was left out of the lineup, and then suddenly reinstated at the last minute. But apparently,
he played crap, did he?
Apparently, he was like a ghost. Apparently,
France won, didn't they?
France won that. Yeah, he slept walked through the game. Apparently, according to some reports, or as if he was sleepwalking. So, so conspiracy theory number 2.
God's sake.
The Israelis are using animals to spy on people and attack people in some cases.
Completely believable.
So they're using it for espionage or attack. So there's basically an event in 2010 where 2 Russians and a Ukrainian were killed by some sharks.
Sounds like a joke.
were killed by some sharks off the coast of Sharm el Sheikh, and there was some murmurings. I think they were like
some murmurous things.
Yes, they were.
Didn't your dad go to Sharm el Sheikh, Callum?
Couldn't tell you. That does seem like the kind of place he'd have worked in the past. Yeah.
So basically, there's murmurings that this was like a planned attack from the Israelis, i.e., they trained these sharks for espionage and attack, and that they basically were it was a show of force. And they're also using like other animals for espionage. There was something about them using eagles and other birds as spying and things like that. So that's the second one that I've come across. I thought was quite interesting.
I think that's perfectly believable.
Why is that, James?
Well, I've heard of, I don't know who used them, but I've heard of dolphins being used for warfare. I don't know what they did. Strap bombs to them,
that's not from Carl Pilkington. That's not from the Ricky Gervais show, is it?
Yeah, but I looked it up afterwards, so.
Is it true?
Pretty legit. I think it had a Wikipedia page, so. I'm not
Oh,
complaining
that
about
was that dolphins strapped with guns, was it not? That escaped.
Yeah, I think they put bombs on them. They're not going to be able to use a gun, are they?
So so I think they're saying basically that this was like a show of force. They trained these sharks, and then in Sharm el Sheikh in 2010, bam, there they were.
Isn't this what what Lewis wanted to do as a drug cartel owner?
Oh, he did.
Wanted to.
Yeah. Maybe it's something that he's not telling us.
He's not Israeli, is he, Lewis?
No. Then the third conspiracy theory is to do with the assassination of JFK. So this is like probably one of the best known events in modern history. So there's a few points here. So there's a conspiracy that it wasn't Lee Harvey Oswald acting alone. Lee Harvey Oswald is the guy who shot JFK basically. There's the idea that it's a wider plot from the CIA because they were angry about Kennedy's handling of the Bay of Pigs issues. Bay of Pigs fiasco it was called when we learned about it in history. Apparently the bullet trajectory did not match the position at which Lee Harvey Oswald shot from, and in an ABC poll 32% of people do not think that it was purely Lee Harvey Oswald acting alone.
But who are they asking there? Is this Americans?
It didn't actually say.
Because most Americans can't even point to America on a map.
So there's a widespread belief that basically Lee Harvey Oswald was not acting alone, and there was at least one other person assisting him. So
I've watched documentaries on that, and that it does seem pretty up in the air, really.
If I was to assassinate someone of that sort of figure, I would require or ask for some sort of assistance. That's quite a big ploy to pull off on your own, isn't it? You'd want some help. So I reckon he's probably gone for it.
It was different times, though, wasn't it?
Yeah,
I guess. Yeah.
I think that the interesting thing that I read about this was people were saying that it's like part of a wider thing from like the CIA and the American intelligence, that basically they weren't happy with how he'd handled like certain issues at the time, and they basically wanted to off him. So it's like a wider plot. But 32% of people don't feel that he wasn't acting alone, and there's apparently evidence to suggest that the trajectory didn't match his position, and there was potentially a second gunman involved.
If there is, he is one of the biggest snakes in history.
What, the other gunman?
Yeah, he's let this other fella take all the bloody rigmarole and all the downfall of this killing, and then he's just swanned off and lived his normal life. What kind of mate is he?
Yeah. I think the most suspicious thing is when Lee Harvey Oswald was going to his court case, someone came out and shot him.
That's probably his pal that's shot him.
Yeah, maybe. So of those three, lads, which one would you say is the most plausible of the three, and why?
I'll let you take the road, James.
Oh, that's going to go with the animal one. I reckon they're doing it. They're definitely doing it, aren't they?
Or just the Israelis or everyone?
I reckon. Yeah.
I think loads of them are doing it for like reconnaissance and all sorts.
You ever seen Warhorse?
Yeah.
That's similar.
Isn't that just a bloke riding a horse?
Pretty sure that's like a horse that. Do you know? I've actually never seen it. Is it not a horse that helps out in the war? I swear.
Yeah, but it's not.
Well, yeah.
Not for spying purposes. It's not for spying purposes, though.
All right.
Yeah. So you reckon, James, that the countries using animals as for espionage?
Yeah, I think they're definitely doing that.
That's the most
definitely.
What about you, Callum?
I reckon that's probably the least plausible, the animal, and they're bloody useless.
No, you're
Right.
talking
So
shit.
what would you say then is the most plausible? Ronaldo potentially being
I don't really
drugged
give a
or
shit
tampered
about
with,
Ronaldo.
or JFK. The JFK.
Oh, I thought
I
you were
think
going to
the-
say like the moon landing and all sorts, but you've gone with
Yeah.
bloody Ronaldo having a sick day.
Ronaldo.
I thought I
think-
was just trying to keep it varied.
Form is temporary, class is permanent. I think he's just having an off day. I don't.
I
I
think he
think
genuinely had a fit and he played like shit because he just had a fit.
had a fit. Yeah.
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 Where was it? It was in. Where was the France? I was in France, wasn't it? 98.
I think so.
It was. Yeah, it was. I'm pretty sure. Yeah. So it's probably the French food that's got him. It's probably just ill.
The escargot.
I wouldn't
Yeah,
want to eat it.
Yeah.
Too many baguettes, too
So,
many snails,
so you're
sicky
saying-
belly. He's had a fit. He's thrown a blunder,
Mm.
and then he'll go down as one
And
of
they've
these
had
flops
to-
in football history.
They've had to put him in basically to appease the Brazilian fans. That's what you're saying.
Yeah, because I think the Brazilian fans would have been absolutely fuming if he hadn't been in the team. Bit like I am now that Sam Cosgrove hasn't started for Birmingham tonight against Wickham.
Disappointing, mate. Disappointing. I don't know who.
He's
that
had a
is.
fit, has he?
No, he is fit though. He's a good looking lad.
He's been poisoned by Wycombe Wanderers.
That'd be pretty impressive from
Yeah.
Wickham Wanderers. I think the most plausible one's the JFK job because A, the Americans seem to have a lot of conspiracy theories. B, but what was I going to say? It was a long time ago, and you could get away with more stuff back then, couldn't you? And you could there was less evidence, less surveillance,
Yeah,
all that
fair
kind
enough.
of jazz. But yeah, no, I think Americans are obviously a bit more trigger happy than the UK, so I wouldn't be surprised if there was a few of them on it. It
Fair
seems
play.
like the kind of plan that you need a plan of a few people rather than just a one man job.
Fair play, mate. Fair play.
What do you think, Ewan?
I would be inclined to say that the animal one is a little bit too far out of reach for me. I just think
James is absolutely fuming.
What, you reckon they don't use animals at any level?
Yeah, but
I
like
think they
I've
use
got
them for
dogs
helping.
and they can't see the fox in the garden.
Yeah, but you got
Yeah.
a special type of dog.
I would probably say I'd probably have to agree with Callum. I'm not suggesting that I think it is true, but I'm of the three that I've brought to the table, I'd say that's probably the most plausible, given the fact that as we've discussed, it's quite a long time ago. There is apparently evidence to suggest that it's not just one gun.
Oh yeah. No, I definitely think that is plausible. I just don't think it's as plausible as armies using animals in some sort of attack
Fair
method.
play, mate.
What animal do you think would be the most useful?
I think it'd have to be native to whatever country you're invading.
All right.
Because
Would you use it
let's
for-
say we had a proper bargee with Scotland again, and suddenly we start rocking up on gorillas. They're going to spot that a mile away, aren't they? Whereas if we
Right.
trained like foxes,
I knew you were going to say foxes. That's what I was
things
thinking.
like badgers,
Mm.
you know,
Would you
they
train
can be
them
vicious.
for-
Apparently.
Would you train them for attack, or would you train them for like surveillance?
I'd probably give them a disease and just push them in there.
Yeah, I think that brings that one quite nicely, don't you think, Ewan?
I reckon that concludes my segment.
The last sort of thing we end with, James, is sort of a quick fire question. So you have to answer
Yeah.
these fairly quickly. Louis
Yeah.
tries to do it in one word, but it's hard for some of them. Once again, Ewan, you just come to sit there because I've got the questions.
Yeah.
Which host would you rather be? So if you had to swap lives with one of us two and live the life as one of us two, who'd you pick?
Oh, sorry, host of this.
Yeah.
No, I thought you were going to say like a proper show then.
No. This is
If I had to, well, I'd go with Callum, but it's just, I'll be honest, it's
what are
the
your
lesser
reasons
of
behind
two
that? Because
evils.
we discussed earlier, me and you, before we joined. This is a great opportunity
it
for you to just
looks
dig into
like-
Ewan.
Based on the camera, it looks like Ewan's stuck in an attic.
Yeah.
There's barely any lighting, but he's still squinting. It's I don't know. It's a tough one. I mean, got no real obvious reasons unless I just lay into the boy, and I'm not going to do that on his own podcast.
You'd be the first not to, I think.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thanks, James. Appreciate it.
Who would win in a fight? Who would win in an underwater fight? 3 sharks or 33 Ewans?
3 sharks. Well, I was going to ask which shark, but it doesn't matter, does it? Can you
No.
even swim, Ewan?
Yeah, not very well, but I can swim, but not
Probably just floating, aren't you?
Underwater anyway,
I
so you've
think
only got
I-
like
I
60
think.
seconds.
Just sink your feet in.
The best striker the Premier League has ever seen?
Shearer, probably, innit?
Thoughts on Southern Rail and who wins in a race between Southern Rail and Thameslink?
Thoughts on Southern Rail? I don't really care about Southern Rail, to be honest. I do my job. They do theirs.
For anyone, do you want to disclose where you work?
I
or-
don't tell them where I work. No.
Probably not. No.
Do not tell the fans.
Who would win a fight between a rhino and a hippo?
Oh, that's tough, that, isn't it? Because hippos are meant to be pretty big killers. I think you've discussed hippos before,
Yeah,
haven't
we've had them on. Yeah,
you? Yeah, how many topics have we been through on this?
I know.
Brilliant podcast. Yeah, I can't help but think if a rhino went for it, he's got a horn on his head. You know?
True. That is true. Yeah. What's your least favourite thing about Callum? I guess what do you hate the most about me?
Oh, I don't know. It doesn't come to mind, so that's positive.
That's positive.
For
Yeah.
you. Yeah.
Anything?
Your eating habits were a bit annoying for a bit, but you didn't go on about it too much. So
There we go. Who is the best centre forward partner you've ever played with, and why is it Lewis Neal?
old Lewis Neal. I think Lewis Neal was good because Howard Neal just used to shout "Gamble, gamble," run into the corners.
Yeah, no, that was classic tactics. Yeah.
That was good tactics from Howard Neal. Yeah.
So yeah, that brings that to the end of that segment. You and if you'd like to Media University end this, that'd be brilliant.
Did we have that really good intro in this?
Yeah.
Fucking,
If anyone's listening,
Jamaz into this, isn't it?
we can't have the music on YouTube as an outro because we got copyright strike by the WWE Federation.
Unbelievable.
So the outro on YouTube is me singing the song. If you'd like to listen, if you're a Spotify listener, if you want to hop over to YouTube and just give that a listen at the end, it's
You put it on Lewis's one though, didn't you?
What, the song?
Yeah, the old.
Here Comes the Money. Yeah, no, we
Yeah.
have it at the start and the end on Spotify, but just at the start on YouTube, and I sing it out on the end on
It's
YouTube
actually quite entertaining at the end of these.
because it's too long.
Because you can only have 6 seconds worth.
Yeah, so it's 6
That's
seconds at the
ridiculous,
start,
isn't it? So
and
you've
we
got,
talk
like-
over it at the
So
start,
no one's listening to this except the WWE.
which is pretty cool. To be fair.
Yeah.
Well,
So, yeah, go on, you take us away.
thank you very much for listening to this episode of the Hocus Pocus podcast. If you did enjoy it, give us a like below, drop a comment, let us know who would win in the fight, me or Anton, Danny, Luke, and let us know who you want to get on next, who you want us to have on next. So thanks very much for listening. Follow us on social media. It's at Hocus Pocus Podcast, and we'll catch you again next week. Cheers.
Cheers, guys.